All right, it is 7 o'clock. This is the February 6th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. If we could call the roll.
Brown,
Present.
can you turn your microphone on, please? Clinton? Here. Hendricks?
Here.
Shawno? Here.
Okay, well, our last set of minutes was from July. Did anyone find anything that needed to be corrected or amended? Or can we approve the minutes as submitted?
I confirmed that as vice, I did actually review these after the meeting and have more confidence in that review than the one I did 2 days ago. So I saw nothing to change, so unless someone else did, I would move to approve them.
Okay,
I had no corrections either. I agree.
is that a second?
I would support the motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. New business. Case number 873, request for rear yard setback variance at 1223 Petoskey Street. If we could have a rundown on.
Sure. The subject property is a 7,138 square foot parcel south of Sheridan Street on the dead end portion of Petoskey Street. The property is zoned R3 single family residential and currently has a garage. There was a freestanding single family dwelling that was condemned and demolished in 2023. The previous structure was non-conforming in that it was approximately 5 feet from the rear property line and at or over the side property line. Per the zoning ordinance, the minimum lot size allowed in the R3 district is 6,000 square feet and 50 feet in width. In order for a lot to be 50 feet wide, it would need to be at least 120 feet deep to meet that 6,000 square foot requirement. While the parcel in question is over 7,000 square feet in area, the lot dimensions are 86 feet wide and 83 feet deep. Due to the shallow nature of the parcel, the buildable area on the parcel is 23 feet deep and 71 feet wide. And the location and orientation of the existing garage reduces that area as well. The applicant is requesting a rear yard setback variance of 20 feet due to the dimensional restrictions of the parcel and the location and orientation of the existing garage. There was a variance request in district standards chart provided for you that does indicate the only request for a variance is that rear yard setback.
Okay. Do we have are you the applicant?
Yes.
Would you like to comment at all, or?
I don't think so. I think Lisa covered pretty much the whole thing there. Just there is not a lot of space between. Because the lot is so shallow, it gives me only a 18-foot building envelope. So if meet the other setbacks by asking for 20 feet in the back, setting further away from the road, is I thought the best resolution that we could get to putting a structure there. And really, quite honestly, just a ranch style home that can fit in here. So it's 28 by 56, or 50 feet, someplace in that range. So I guess that's what we're looking at. So.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's any other way that anybody sees a configuration different. I would be willing to try to do something different, but I don't know that there would be much that we can do with that.
Okay. All right. Anyone on the board have any questions for the applicant or comments?
I do, and actually you answered one of them, which was that this is just a one-story house. Okay, and the other one is that in terms of the placement of the proposed house, I noticed you've got about a 5-foot gap between the house and the garage, and I am assuming is that So you got access to the backyard on your own property. Is that the main reason for that, or?
The space between the. garage
Yeah, in the house.
Because I couldn't push it, I can't join the two.
Yeah, okay,
Then I guess I fall into another whole set of guidelines, so.
Okay.
To keep that space, I potentially could move a foot or two closer.
okay,
Because I can still go around the garage side.
around the
which
garage side,
is
okay,
only 3.5 feet, I think, at the closest point there, but 5 feet on the opposite side.
on the other side, yeah.
Which is
okay.
where there's like an easement for the guy to come around the back of the house,
Got it,
so.
Could
Right.
could you have configured the house so that the small width is just literally configure it to 90 degrees and move it closer to Petoskey Street? You know what how I discuss?
Yeah, I possibly could.
And maybe, maybe even move it to use some of the existing driveway and make your entry into the driveway directly off Petoskey Street.
Even if you flip it 90 degrees, you're not gonna have the rear setback that's required.
Mhm.
I'm gonna miss the front then.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
it's still,
60.
yeah, if you,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's.
yeah, 'cause you're only gonna have 23 feet left over and we need, and the zoning is 40
rear-
feet for the back. Or no, I mean, sorry, yeah,
It's
the
35 for the rear setback, isn't it?
rear is 35, it is 35,
So
but you're only
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
have 23 feet remaining, so you're still not gonna get it.
Right,
So when I did that drawing, you can see that I think it's only like an 18-foot
Mhm.
area that we have to work with. And I just thought that was the easiest way for me to come up with it, was asking for the rear yard,
Rear.
then moving it closer to the street.
Looking at the aerial view, it looks like the old dwelling was right on that lot line in the back, wasn't it?
Or over.
Or over, yeah, right over.
And then it,
5 feet from the rear. So this is an improvement from what was there.
correct, and again, the backyard one was only 5 feet off of it, which now we're moving it to 15 feet.
The only way I could see is if you moved it forward and reduced the garage size, but into a single garage, which I don't, that's real feasible. I mean, you'd really have to force it. Well, yeah,
So the old house that was there, condemned and removed.
Mhm.
So I bought it on tax foreclosure,
Mm.
or the county condemned it and then sold it. They acquired it back and then went through a public auction. With the stipulation that the building had to be tore down.
Mhm.
So once the building was tore down, then now we have another lot. And I didn't look quite into it as I should have to know my space that I could work with,
Mhm.
but now we're here, so.
well, to me, the way that I looked at this is that if we looked at the actual setbacks and applied them, you'd only be able to have a house that was 23 feet wide, whatever way you want to call it. And so then I went online and was looking up, and I'm no architect, but small houses, and none of them are that narrow.
Right.
So in my view, and again, because of the rotation of the house, it was a good point, but I think that just makes it more crowded towards the street in the back.
Mhm.
You know, I don't think that solves the problem. So in my view, to make the property usable, there's gonna be some variance that would be allowed, and it's just a question of how much and how it goes. I just, that's what I was thinking. I thought, wow, 23 feet. wide isn't very wide. So that anyways, that's my starting point.
Yeah.
Uh,
Question, is there a? Not that it. I would bring it to this, but is there a minimum size for a residential structure?
600 square feet.
600?
Mhm.
Is this like a single story, 2 bedroom or something?
Yes. So I think the square footage is on. I don't know if it is with the house.
well, it gives
So I think it's 28. It's combined with the garage, I think, is what that square footage that I put on there.
okay, but the house itself is 28 by 60, right?
Correct.
Okay,
So, yeah,
so that's about just not quite 1,700 square feet.
Yeah, so, and I can shrink it, but not really. I don't want to go much narrower. I could come down in size of the length, but that doesn't help at all. At all.
No, and then you become out of character for the rest of the neighborhood.
Right. I think these older, smaller lots that this isn't uncommon issue.
that's a small lot.
Yeah,
It's just-
It is a
It's an
small-
oddly shaped lot. If you, I mean, just looking at the aerial one, there aren't any other lots
right.
around that even, like, there's the,
The one in
a
back.
bunch of long, narrow lots.
Yeah, the one in the back of it, I mean, on the,
Yeah,
is similar, which I think that was another one that was condemned and tore down. So. And that lot's gonna probably end up being the same. Somebody's gonna have to get a variance of some sort, even
it
that
looks like that one might be a little bit just
longer.
a little bit longer,
Yeah.
but not
The
by
one to the
much,
south.
but maybe enough. And it doesn't have any existing
North.
garage on it.
North.
That one is about 100 feet wide, but it's
Oh,
the
it is?
same depth, so
Okay.
they'll have the same issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing, you were saying that, from here to here is 23, but with this garage there, you're really
Yeah,
talking about less than that. And you gotta stay, far enough away. If this is still gonna be utilized,
right.
you're really only talking about
Yeah,
something that
It's,
can't be
I
built.
think it's 18 feet
18
is the,
is the,
is the window that was
Yeah.
between the rear and the.
and I mean,
and the
just,
front.
28 feet wide it is like a modest
mhm.
width,
Mhm.
I think,
Yeah, that's what just what I was looking at. It seemed like that would be about. Cause that's what I said, when they're talking about these narrow houses, they were, they were still 25 feet wide.
Mhm.
And so this isn't, I mean, this is about as narrow as you can go and still have like a room on each side in the hallway, probably, like for bedroom.
right, yeah.
So that was what my thinking was, so.
Lisa, did we have any input from neighbors? So I didn't see anything.
No, nothing.
So,
Including the neighbor directly behind,
No,
and they received, what is it?
everyone within 300 feet.
300, everybody got notice,
Mhm.
and nothing came in writing or calls.
Nope.
All right, anyone have any other thoughts, or do you want to move on to our checklist?
I think we can move on. You guys ready?
Yes. Okay. Right. Will strict compliance with the dimensional requirements of the zoning ordinance prevent the applicant from using the property for the permitted purpose? Variance granted for circumstances unique to the property, not those unique to the owner.
I believe it's. The strict compliance would keep him from using the property, because I don't think you can build a house. In that 23 feet,
Right, not a house worth building.
not a house worth building that would be consistent with the neighborhood. So I would say it supports the variance.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Is there a way to accomplish the same purpose without a variance or with a lesser variance regardless of convenience or expense? The ZBA considers the property not issues with the interior of the structure.
I think we just said the same thing.
I mean, like you said, you could maybe move it up 1 foot
Mm-hmm.
closer to the garage, but that would be about the really feasible extent, I think.
And I personally, I would, that foot. Like we typically make a hallway 4 foot, but like 5 foot is a comfortable sort of.
Well, you don't, it
Pass-
doesn't feel crowded. That's
Right.
what I thought. 'Cause I was thinking, I mean, not that I mow my lawn anymore. I have someone do it, but just like to take a riding mower through an area. I mean, even 4 feet's a little narrow.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's supports the variance.
Okay. Is the need for the variance due to a situation that is unique to the property and would not generally be found elsewhere in the same zoning district? If the situation is often repeated in the same zoning district, then the variance request should be denied.
Well, since the lot right next door has the same problem, I could say, you wouldn't say it's a unique situation.
The unusual size is also makes it unique in
Mhm.
my opinion. So I think that the need for the variance is supported by the uniqueness of the property. and the
I guess
small
the
size.
shape and the size of the lot compared to the others is unique. Even though the issue
they're
is not.
both unusual,
Mhm.
but those shapes of lots are
Yeah.
not found elsewhere in the zoning
Yeah.
district. So in that, it's certainly not something that's often repeated.
Yeah,
Mhm. If granted, will the variance uphold the spirit and intent of the ordinance and be fair to neighboring properties? There are reasons the ordinance was adopted and those reasons should be respected and upheld.
I would say yes in that area, that I'm sure it's not the only one that's gonna have. That's a little bit out of zoning when it comes to a setback from just the size of the lots and the age of the homes.
I think it supports or upholds the spirit and intent. For one, the proposed new building will be an improvement over what was there before, so,
Right.
I mean,
And it's not like you're pushing to build like this massive home on this tiny lot in a neighborhood with
Right.
just
And
smaller
that's what,
homes.
and my other thought had been, because it is only a 1-story structure, it won't be as much of a sort of visual intrusion for the house
Mhm.
behind.
mhm.
To me, that's an important consideration
Yeah.
too, that it's gonna put a nice new home in that area with, like you say, not being massive.
Okay. Has the need for the variance been created through previous action of the applicant? The appeals board is not responsible for bailing out an applicant who created the need for a variance.
I would say
It was not the applicants.
No actions, I feel. Generate stuff. So that would support the variance requests.
Okay. Anyone want to work on a motion?
Um,
I let the legal
If
people
not-
do it.
yeah, I can do it.
All right,
In case number 873, I move to approve a rear yard setback. I guess it's a variance, right, of 20 feet at 1223 Petoskey Street. This is based on the findings of fact that this is a rather unusual shaped lot, particularly in how shallow it is in depth. And that because of that, it has created some difficulties for the placement of a house. that this amounts to a practical difficulty created by section 1600 of the zoning ordinance. And that the proposed changes are not contrary to the intent of the ordinance and would not cause substantial detriment to the public good or substantially impair the intent and purpose of the ordinance.
I second.
Okay.
Any discussion on the motion? Okay,
Did you second, Chris?
I did.
Okay. Okay, you want roll call?
Sure.
Okay, Clinton,
Yes.
Hendricks,
Yes.
Shaw Null,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay.
Variance is granted.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Next, item is our 2024 schedule.
For the zoning board of appeals bylaws, the regular zoning board of appeals meeting shall be conducted in the evening on the first Tuesday of the month. If there is business pending. Since the time that this packet went out, well, actually, you guys have gotten your emails as far as quorums go, because we do have some potential cases coming up. It was determined that March and April, we cannot get quorums for the dates that are on your list of meeting dates, which would be the first Tuesday of the month. So with that being said, I'm asking you to consider if you can, if you're able to attend. We were able to determine potentially quorums for March 12th and April 9th. Those would be the alternate dates to the first Tuesday. It would be actually be the second Tuesday of the month.
I can do both of those.
Okay,
Said March 12th and then
April
April 9th.
9th.
Yeah, I might be gone on the 9th.
And I do have what you guys responded to
'cause
Christine
I
with
think
as
I
far
said
as
I would-
availability, but basically because it's not the first Tuesday,
Right.
as the bylaws state. And then Mary and I briefly discussed a future discussion
Right.
on the bylaws and maybe putting a section in there that addresses when this type of situation happens, coming up with an alternate date that we can actually get a quorum for. And I have a feeling this time of year is probably the
Yeah,
harder
just
time
to
for
amend the
people.
bylaws to say that it shall be that first Tuesday. Except if it is determined, by the board that there is reason to adjourn. If you want city people to do that, or I can throw some language at you,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, if you wanna
Yeah.
throw something at me, that'd be great, and we can put that on the next agenda.
Okay.
So
Do you know what section of the bylaws it is? So I don't,
it is the bylaws are freestanding.
okay,
So
all right.
there, if you go to the zoning board of appeals, excuse me, agendas and minutes page,
Okay, so it's under
There's a
the
link.
ordinance, or where,
the bylaws are separate.
is it
from
in
the
this
ordinance.
packet?
You should have the bylaws.
Okay,
I don't know
I'll
if
find
you
it.
guys have the most
Okay.
recent ones. I think I don't know if you guys actually got a copy of those, because we did that in,
If I don't have it, I'll,
let me know when I can send it to you.
okay, all right, so
Okay.
draft bylaws. Language. Concerning change. Updates by board. Okay. So do you need a motion though to
Yeah,
approve?
so we can
Okay.
approve them.
And you said it was to March 12th and April 9th.
Correct.
I would move that, due to the extenuating circumstances presented, that the ZBA appeals meeting scheduled for Tuesday, March 5th be rescheduled to Tuesday, March 12th. And the meeting scheduled for Tuesday, April 2nd be rescheduled to Tuesday, April 9th.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Well, since we have no public, we can skip the public comment section.
Any updates?
So as I mentioned, there are two potential cases coming forward. There's a request for a lot area variance. he would prefer to have a full board, so I'm not sure when that will be coming before you, excuse me, and then the other is an appeal to staff's determination for a short-term rental on the first floor of a
Explain that
Property.
one just a little to me.
So there is, a license was issued for a short-term rental.
Okay.
But short-term rentals per the ordinance are allowed on the second floor or above, not on the first floor. They're only allowed in business districts. And so when the new license was issued, there was a change of use, so I did a zoning permit and they had proposed first and second floor short-term rental units. And I approved the second story, but the first floor I denied because of the way, the way the ordinance is written. So she is appealing my determination on that, so. I don't know if that will be coming to you in March or if that will be in April. But being that the meeting date has been changed, it may be coming in March. We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Oh, in case anyone was interested, the rents.
Oh, yeah.
I drove by recently and it's all down.
Is
so
it
Is it? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
It took a long time.
Yeah, it was done before the end of the year, which was the deadline.
Was it?
I mean, I feel from, he put a lot of, sweat in the building that structure, but it was just, it had to come down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which one is this? Is this the one on?
Michigan Street.
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah.
Encroaching on the neighbors.
Yeah.
The setback.
Right.
Mhm.
So was it an overhang that was too close to the line or what?
It was in the setback and then he put a covering over it, so it increased his lot coverage beyond what was allowed and also was, because it was covered, it had to be outside of the setback and it was in the setback, so he had to bring it back.
So he's cleaned up the mess. I see.
Okay,
It's crazy. That, how long is that?
That was
going on?
many
He
years.
fought the good fight, yeah.
Yeah. That was- Okay.
Any other comments? If not, we can adjourn at 7:27.